Hello, it's me. I want to talk about smurfing today. I want to be kind of fast about it though. So anyway, a lot of people know that I smurf a lot. Which is like, a lot of people are going to be like, wow, that's cringe, man. Which is fine, right? I know some people don't like smurfing, but I love smurfing. I personally love smurfing. I think it's great for the game as well. And not only do I think it's really, really good for the game, it's also really fun. And not only is it really fun, it's basically the only way for me to actually be able to play the game and not only have an enjoyable experience, but also just be able to play the game in general. Because if I queue up into a top 500 game, 90% of the time the game is wildly imbalanced because the game is not balanced for top 500/GM players. So people just heavily abuse whatever is the easiest comp available. So not only are they doing that, there's heavy rank inflation, so some teammates are just fucking ass at the game, some enemy players are ass at the game. The map design is so bad that, like, you could download Counter-Strike 1.6 maps from, like, 1999, download them onto your, like, fucking Nintendo Switch, and play them in Roblox and with a superior gaming experience because they don't have Havana and New Queen Street. Which are just gorgeous maps, by the way. They look amazing. But, like, in terms of competitive play, they are probably some of the worst maps ever made, ever. Seriously, ever. They are genuinely terrible. But anyway, back to smurfing. Why do I do it? Okay, let me give you an example. I queue, I'm a support main. I queue support. Okay? I queue up into top 500 support. I set in a 45-minute long queue. I then get into the game, and my teammates are ranging from about high masters to about top 500. So, extremely unbalanced game. Just dog shit. Just awful. Because the high master players are going to get so majorly face fucked by the higher level players that it's essentially just quick play at that point. So, I wait 45 minutes to get a wildly unbalanced dog shit game where not only is the matchmaking unbalanced, the game is unbalanced because the game is built for gold players and casual players. And not only that, I also have to play maps like Havana or like New Queen Street or Coliseo or Paris or whatever. Just fucking horrible maps. So I spent a shit long time in queue. I queue into a garbage map with garbage players on my team and on the enemy team. There's no comms. No one is playing anything right. The comp getting played is boring as shit because you can't play anything else. Everyone's playing Pharmacy and Orisa and Zen and Mercy and Hitscan heroes, and no one's playing anything technically difficult like Genji or Tracer or like Echo or like any of the fun, cool heroes. People are like, I'm picking Sombra. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just boring. So I have to sit in a really long queue to play in an unbalanced game with unbalanced heroes on shit maps, and it sucks, okay? Not only that, the rank inflation is just awful. Why would I ever grind to be the highest rank in the game if I am punished for doing so, right? If I queue into top 500, here's what I get. Unbalanced games, long queue times, and that's it. I don't get any reward, nothing. Right? You may say, you'll get the little top 500 badge in your career profile so people know you're good. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Do you know why? Because at the start of the season, 400 of the 500 top 500 positions are diamond players who are going to get that little top 500 badge. And there are thousands upon thousands of players who will get the top 500 badge in their little profile because they were diamond at the start of the season and they played enough games. So then you can queue up into a guy who peaked like rank 15 in top 500. Like, holy shit, this guy's going to be really good. And then you look and nope, that's just a diamond 2 player. But he was rank 15, he must be good. Nope, because the way you get top 500 is so fucking easy that a bunch of rank-inflated garbage players are able to not only get it, but sometimes maintain it for like upwards of a month, where you're queuing up into top 500, and you're unironically getting Chris Kringle on your team, and Mishu on your team, and by the way, if you watch my stream, then you know who those players are, and you know how notoriously fucking atrociously shit they are at the game, but doesn't matter. They play enough that they get in top 500 where they just ruin the game for the first month of the season because no one else is playing, right? So that is really cool. So I don't want to do that because it's boring as shit to play against. And then I go, I want to smurf. Why do I want to smurf? Because I like queuing into the game at like a normal speed. I like, even just like a 5-minute queue is fine. I don't want to set longer than 30 minutes in a queue. That's ridiculous. So I get into a game, I get to play whatever hero I want, I get to feel impactful, I get to perform well, I get to do funny strats, I get to like kind of fuck around with the chance of winning, and a lot of people are like, just do that in quick play. But it's just not the same in quick play at all. It's not even remotely the same. Don't say it's the same. Because when you, after like 3 quick play games, I'm in GM MMR and then I'm fighting just like GM Masters quick play games again, and it's just the same. Like it's just essentially just ranked, right? There's no difference between quick play and ranked. It's the same. So then I play ranked on a lower level account. And here's another thing. It genuinely benefits the player base. Okay? What is the purpose of ranked? The purpose of ranked is to play and improve and get better and win more and rank up and be a higher rank than other people, to be in a higher percentile, to be superior, right? That's the point of the rank system. And if you disagree, you're wrong, because that's what a rank system is. That's what it's built to. It's built for competition, okay? How do players improve? Well, they can do it on their own by actually practicing, studying, training, things like that. And another way is to learn from other players around them. Okay, now I'm not necessarily saying it's fun to queue into a top 500 player as a gold player and get shit stomped. I'm not saying that's fun, okay? And I understand it can be frustrating. But at the end of the day, if you're playing ranked and you're trying to compete at like a higher level, then, you know, you can be upset about queuing into me. That's fine. I have no problem with you being annoyed by it. I get tilted all the time. I think I spend 90% of my time on this game annoyed. So I'm not getting mad at people being annoyed at it. I'm fine. If you don't like it because it annoys you, that's fine. But there are so many times where I've seen gold players queue into top 500 players and they refuse to understand why they're getting getting fucking annihilated. Okay? And that's the point that it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. If you're queuing ranked, you're queuing to get better, right? Surely. That is the purpose of ranked. If you queue into a player who's a lot better than you and is a lot more experienced than you, is destroying you, there are so many learning opportunities there for you to improve, right? And I'm not necessarily saying that everyone has to feel like that. But if you're playing ranked, you kind of should. That's the point of ranked. You have gained such a good opportunity to learn and to get better that it would be a little silly of you to only complain about the situation rather than going, you know what, actually, this kind of sucks that I'm playing against this player. I kind of don't want to do that. But I have a massive opportunity to learn. Like, I think I've seen actual gold players rank up from playing against Smurfs like all the time. I remember I used to coach a player all the time who complained about Smurfs all the time. It was like their main gripe. They're saying, I'm hard stuck because I go against Smurfs all the time. It took like 2 weeks of coaching for me to instill in him that if he's going against Smurfs, that is the best thing available for him, because then he gets to learn from it, okay? If he genuinely pays attention, he'll learn. And with relatively basic coaching, as well as him learning for himself against the players who are smurfing, he went from gold to like low masters in the course of like a week and a half, right? Now, I'm not saying that's for everyone. That's not going to happen to everyone, obviously. But it goes to show that if you're genuinely queuing into Smurfs, you have such a big advantage over everyone who doesn't queue into Smurfs, because you're getting knowledge that those players otherwise wouldn't have, or experiences those players wouldn't have. Now, that's not me going like, trying to find like an excuse for smurfing or whatever people want to say. I would smurf anyway. Let's say there was no benefit to anyone but myself, I would still smurf for the other reasons. However, I think that benefit alone is a relatively good reason for people to be allowed to smurf and it for it to not be looked down upon. Obviously, if you do look down upon it, I don't give a shit. I don't really care. But I think if you genuinely want to compete at a high level, smurfing is good for you, and it's good for the player base. Okay? So let's recap a few things that I said. I smurf because being in the higher ranks, it punishes you as a player. It's generally a worse experience. It takes forever to find a game. The game is not competitive enough for you to compete at that high level because things are too easily abused, and the game is too simple and too easy to break down and too easy to break on its own for it to be competitive at a high level. So those reasons alone, I'm smurfing, dog. I don't give a shit. I'm smurfing because of those reasons. Plus, the game is balanced around gold players. So you're lucky enough to have the game balanced for you. I'm lucky enough to be good enough to 1v5 your gold lobby, okay? I'm just saying. But not only that, it's genuinely beneficial to the player base. Are there any other reason I smurf? Probably not. I'll be real with you. A lot of people ask me, why do you smurf all the time? And I'm like, dog, this shit is just more fun. I'm just being real. It is more fun. It is. And I don't think I ruin other people's fun because I queue one game into them. So let's say they have like let's say they play 3 games a day. They get 1 game against me like a week. Because I'm just going to be real with you guys. The amount of people who are like, Smurfs in my game, Smurf in my game. Dog, you are not playing against Smurfs. I'm just being real. There are not nearly as many Smurfs as you think there are. Seriously. I would say there are probably about 10% or 5% of the games where people are like, I'm playing against a Smurf. There's actually a Smurf. Because there really are not that many people Smurfing in this game. I'm just being real. Maybe in like Diamond. Diamond is probably the most plagued rank when it comes to Smurfs. But like, other than that, Smurfing really isn't as big as a deal as people make it out to be, okay? So anyway, that was me talking about why I Smurf. Again, just remember the main reason is that the game at the top level is built so badly that it is a waste of time to play at the high level because you're only punished for doing so, and until they fix it, I plan on Smurfing until the end of time. But when they eventually fix the game by balancing it around top 500 GM level, trickle-down balancing, which is a superior method proven by multiple games, once they decide to do that, create a generally more competitive rank system, improve map design, things like that, make a genuinely enjoyable experience, improve roll imbalance, improve queue times. Once those things are improved, I will stop Smurfing. But until those things are changed, I plan on queuing into your gold lobby and annihilating every gold player I play against until the end of time. And I plan on doing that every day for the rest of my life. Because it's fun. And I think I earned it. Anyway, thank you. Mwah.